Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and tonight we are looking at some of the new releases for Necromunda. These are all currently on pre-order and were provided by Games Workshop for the purpose of our review and sharing them with you for this video. Now, we have the Zone Mortalis Underhive Market, we have the Book of the Outcast, and then we also have the Underhive Outcast Gang. So that is a new gang to play that's outside of the normal house gangs that we're used to seeing. And so we're going to go ahead and open those up and take a look at them, as well as the book. Now, as soon as I move my tea, these items are going to avalanche, so we're going to just be a little careful here. All right. So first, we're going to go ahead and look at the Outcast Gang. All right. So we have 3 of these smaller sprues. It looks like this one has most of 3 or 4 bodies, and this one, which actually is an identical sprue, has the same. And then we have this last one, which looks like it has 3 other bodies, or at least parts of those bodies. And then combined, we would have the whole team. Then we do have our small assembly guide. Which does show pretty easily, pretty straightforward assembling these models. And followed by a class picture, so to speak. And then we have a blank card for creating your characters. And then it does say permission to photocopy for personal use. And then additionally, we have our bag of bases, 4, 6, 8, 10 bases there. And then it had 2 extra bases. And so just looking at the number on the box, we do have 12 total. So with these 2 loose ones, that is exactly how many should be there. Now, looking at the models, I mean, they definitely have a good amount of detail. Some of the pieces look like these guys are kind of a hodgepodge of kind of like scraps taken from the different gangs, because you see some parts that look very much like Cawdor, as well as some parts that look very similar to the Arbites, the Enforcers, and even some Warlock stuff in here. And actually, one person's kind of got a little bit of a trench coat, so it could be something similar to a House to Lock that they've looted off of corpses to kind of kit themselves out. And then same thing with this other sprue, also kind of a hodgepodge of weapons. We have some stubbers, we have some laser guns, chainsword, shotgun. But what I really like about this set is the different heads, especially. Like one guy, has a mohawk. One guy kind of looks like he's got a bit of a faux hawk. Some people with hooded cloaks. Same thing, but with like night vision goggles. So a lot of different options to kit out your gang. Now, obviously, if you've been playing Necromunda for a while, you're also gonna have some other options too, so you can kind of mix and match to make a truly unique Outcast Gang. So something to consider there. And then their specific rules, since this box did not come with that, those are going to be in the Book of the Outcast, which we'll get to that in just a little bit. So here's the Underhive Market, and so this is more terrain to be used in Necromunda. Now, kind of in the markets themselves, it's kind of a kind of like a free from fire area. So you don't want to accidentally kill the people that are making your food, because that's definitely going to be bad for the people trying to eat. And basically anyone that is serving food is definitely going to be more protected than almost any other vendor. So because nobody can survive without that kind of nourishment. Now looking at these stalls and pieces, let's see, rotated that just to see. So it is 2 of the same sprue itself. I like that, like the bigger tarp does have some stitching on it, some wear and tear. I do wish that it was 2 unique sprues, because other than just changing the color, having them both have the same wear and tear kind of loses some of the mystique. But other than that, like with some of the pieces, like the sign itself, the crates full of weapons and tools, grenades, those have a ton of detail on them. And whether you want to put the lid on those crates or not, that's entirely up to you. But you do have those options. And so definitely a lot of detail in what's here. Like one of them is literally a pile of coins. So some of these pieces alone would make for some great bits to use for like bases and things like that, or being added to other terrain. But by themselves definitely have a lot of options here as far as usable terrain. Looking at let's bring that back out at the picture, I mean, they do show like some of the same wear and tear, and they did them completely different colors, so that way they stand out a little bit more. Some of the gear that you can purchase, some of the weapons, like on one of the racks is some rifles, and those are actually in here as well, and so they're loose. You also, if you have bits from other kits as well, you'd be able to use some of those weapons. Like this one, they actually painted on one of the signs rat, basically like the vendor selling rat meat. So some very cool stuff there. Now what surprises me here is the assembly instruction is like the material is a lot more higher quality than what we had in the Outcast Gang box. Now that could just be because of the production costs themselves, because that one had a lot more pages for the guides, where this one is just a couple pages and that's it, because it's duplicated the same information, because it's 2 of the same sprue. So definitely some cool stuff there. I really like the fact that they're branching out from your typical terrain for Necromunda. Now, I personally think that, and I have not had any confirmation on this whatsoever, but I personally think that within the next year, so 2022, I'm predicting that we are going to have another gang starter. And with some of the stuff that we've seen already, I mean, they're branching out to new gangs that we've never seen before in at least this iteration of Necromunda. I don't know that we've ever had Outcasts before in the original. I know we've yet to see the Ratskins come back. I mean, that might be more of a like a PR issue with some of the cultural appropriation there. So we may never see that come back because of that, or we'll see some sort of variation where they've been able to navigate some of that that mess to make it more unique, so that way they can use it again. And we also haven't seen the spires come back. So definitely some things out there that we have yet to see come back that I would expect that we're going to see at some point. Now, my prediction is that we're probably going to see one of those, and I'm willing to bet it's going to be the spires come out as its own gang, either as part of that starter or as part of its own separate release, kind of like what these were. But again, nothing official has been communicated to me. This is just me speculating on the roadmap for the next year. We are definitely going to see a lot more Forge World releases, which they actually just announced another one. I don't believe I said it before, but these items are currently up for pre-order. They will be out this Saturday. So we're going to go ahead and flip through the book of the Outcast. Now, like with it, we do see, some of the hired guns that Forge World has come out with just on the cover alone. So it's basically kind of gangs from disgraced guilders, exiled nobles, and nefarious criminals in word gatherings, including guidelines for taking hired guns, hanger-on, dramatis persona, and turning them into an outcast leader. And then additional word powers for all the gangs, covering 7 new psychic disciplines, as well as rules for using deadly force weapons in the game, and then an Outlanders campaign as well. So definitely pretty cool. Now, like Lady Credo, she's the one on the cover. And then there's also an enforcer called Stranger Ashwood that's listed just here on the back. Now, I expect that some of those we are going to see models for. I don't believe Lady Credo is currently out yet. But with this, we have the like advancements for. We have the campaign itself. We have, like here we have Dr. Arachnos, the Rogue Doc, which he is currently available as a hired gun. One thing I love about these books is the ribbon bookmark. One of them is a slopper, which they actually just one of the ones that they actually just announced was a slopper, but the model itself looked a lot more repulsive than the drawing here does. Excuse me. Bigby Crumb, Rattling Slopper. Given the choice out of the 2 sloppers, he would definitely be the one that I would go with, based on aesthetics alone. But we are going to see some repeats of some of the characters in here. Like right here, we have the Siphoning Delegation, which is in the House of Blades book. So definitely very cool. Looking to spend more time with this book and get in there and read more about the new gang and getting in there and trying them out. I do like the look of them, but what has me most excited is the Underhive Market here, just because of the more unique terrain options that you have there that we're not used to seeing. So definitely kind of change things up a little bit. So really looking forward to getting these on the table as well. But that is it for this episode. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I hope you have yourselves a good night.